Good evening, and thank you, Jeff, for this honor. Thank you to the NCC as well. I am humbled by the list of previous recipients. My heroes, John McCain, John Lewis, Malala, Muhammad Ali, Mandela, Steven Spielberg. I hope my addition brings something to the extraordinary work of this great institution. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, too, to my best friend, Sarah Botstein, for her extraordinary words and sort of secret betrayal of our process. We want to share it with the world, and I've never seen anyone do it as well as you have. Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you, too, to half of my girls who are here, Sarah and Lily, the most important co-productions that I will ever be involved in. They are, as Sarah said, magnificent women, and thank you for recognizing them. Ladies and gentlemen, I am in the business of history, the often complicated task of trying to decipher the evidence of the past into a coherent narrative that sheds some light on not only where we've been, but where we are now and where we may be going. That is to say, our mysterious and unknown future. That future, particularly today, is not always predictably and comfortably assured. In these fraught moments, it is often the past that provides us with the tools and the inspiration to reinvigorate our sense of ourselves as a machine, as was said of our Constitution and the remarkable republic born from it, a machine that would go of itself. In the course of any historical investigation, one is bombarded with myriad words, ideas, and voices. Those voices, for me, provide the foundation of any good history and helps us separate the wheat from the chaff. What was meaningful then can often be filled with even more import today. Listen, a voice. From a small spark kindled in America, a flame has arisen not to be extinguished. Without consuming, it winds its progress from nation to nation and conquers by a silent operation. Man finds himself changed and discovers that the strength and power of despotism consists wholly in the fear of resisting it, and that in order to be free, it is sufficient that he wills it. As Sarah said, for much of the last 8 years, I have been working with my talented colleagues on a series about the history of the American Revolution. That quote opens the introduction of our first of 6 episodes, totaling 12 hours. It was written by one of the most important political writers of the 18th century, and in the land of Franklin and Jefferson, Madison and Adams and Hamilton, that's saying a lot. His name was Thomas Paine, and his spectacularly vivid prose electrified the revolutionary movement. He provided the momentum that leads to the Declaration of Independence. He inspirited the patriot cause during its darkest days, and he helped provide the confidence that leads to the miraculous operating manual that gives the National Constitution Center its mission and this moment so much meaning. In January of 1776, 37-year-old Thomas Paine was a recent newcomer to America. The son of a Quaker corset maker and his Anglican wife, Paine had failed at his father's profession, lost his first wife and their child in childbirth, been fired from his post as tax collector, endured the collapse of a second childless marriage, and had seen all of his possessions auctioned off to pay his debts. During his 9-week voyage from Britain, he'd contracted typhus, and when his ship reached Philadelphia, he had to be carried off, half dead. But in January of 1776, he'd published, right here in Philadelphia, just a few blocks from here, a pamphlet called Common Sense, the most important pamphlet in American history. It was signed simply, "An Englishman." Paine was a master with words, skillfully weaving the latest Enlightenment philosophy with biblical references that everyone knew. Most important, he was a violent foe of authoritarianism and monarchy. Paine understood that it was possible, as he said, to begin the world anew, to start over again, and we did. We did. He also said there is something very absurd in supposing a continent to be perpetually governed by an island. I have had the privilege for nearly half a century of making films about the U.S., but I have also made films about us. That is to say, the two-letter lowercase plural pronoun, all of the intimacy of us and also we and our, and all of the majesty, complexity, contradiction, and even controversy of the U.S. And if I have learned anything over those years, it's that there's only us. There is no them. And whenever someone suggests to you, whomever it may be in your life, that there's a them, run away. That's my fundamental understanding. That's my fundamental understanding, my best idea. Run away. The National Constitution Center is a place, but more importantly, an idea too, the essential idea that we can improve our democracy by studying our past, our founding, the women and men of all backgrounds who gave birth to this complicated and glorious republic. As we say in the introduction of our new series, the American Revolution was not just a clash between Englishmen over Indian land, taxes, and representation, but a bloody struggle that would engage more than 24 nations, European as well as Native American, that also somehow came to be about the noblest aspirations of humankind. The American Revolution was the first war ever fought, proclaiming the unalienable rights of all the people, and it would change the course of human events. It was the opening signal for more than 2 centuries of revolution, first in Europe, then in the Caribbean, South America, Asia, and Africa. As a nation, we've often forgotten that this history was made by everyone. The stories of those forgotten entirely and those whose stories have been historically ignored or undervalued are critical to our larger American story. You cannot understand the U.S. without understanding us, all of us. The National Constitution Center reminds us daily through exhibitions, education, engagement, and outreach, through the work of scholars and teachers, that our founding documents are not materials to be left in some distant, dusty past, but central to our ongoing story now, the story of us. It's because these documents and ideas are a manifestation of what it means to be human. I could not be more humbled for the extraordinary recognition that you bestow on me tonight. The Liberty Medal recognizes that the desire for liberty, for freedom, is a universal human trait that requires our constant attention against the perpetual threats that assault these virtues. I'd like to thank the board of the National Constitution Center and its president and chief executive, Jeffrey Rosen. I've known Jeff for many years now, but recently, as we've started what will be a national conversation about the American Revolution, I've come to appreciate even more the wisdom and scholarship he brings to these issues, surpassed perhaps only by his love of the ideas themselves. I very much look forward to our conversation this evening. Finally, let me leave you with one more voice, also by our Thomas Paine. The sun never shined on a cause of greater worth. Every spot of the old world is overrun with oppression. Freedom hath been hunted round the globe. Oh, receive the fugitive and prepare in time an asylum for mankind. The birthday of a new world is at hand. Thank you for this extraordinary honor.